To Congresswoman Veronica Escobar says that the Trump administration is not providing clear guidance or information when it comes to its border policies. KFOX 14 News at 5's Harrison Parker spoke with the El Paso Democrat today. He is live along the U.S.-Mexico border with that part of the story. Harrison.
Well, that's right, Robert. We're here at the border now. We're at the site of one of many places where President Trump is changing plenty of policy, and Congresswoman Veronica Escobar today telling me that some of the changes brought by President Trump will have broad impact here in the borderland.
But we're still trying to find out if it will impact El Paso projects, if it will impact funding that is coming to our community. So TBD. I wish I had more information, but again, not a lot of transparency, not a lot of information, a lot of unanswered questions.
Veronica Escobar still looking for answers on how planned borderland projects stand in the Trump era. This after President Trump has ordered a 90-day freeze on funding from the Inflation Reduction Act and the bipartisan infrastructure law. The city of El Paso and Socorro were set to receive funding for projects, and I asked Congresswoman Escobar how she plans to advocate for El Pasoans while serving in the minority party.
What can you do as the minority party?
So there's unfortunately not a lot we can do to prevent or stop a lot of this, but we have an obligation and the ability to provide oversight. We are going to gather those details, share that information as best we can.
Escobar also responded to Trump's executive order banning birthright citizenship, which under the 14th Amendment means anyone born in the U.S. is a citizen.
I have to believe that he and his lawyers understand how outrageous and unlikely it is that they can do that. So what that tells me is that they're willing to use the resources of the federal government to basically for messaging efforts.
Escobar says El Pasoans need to prepare themselves for crackdowns that affect more people than just immigrants. Escobar's objections echoed by her New Mexico Democratic colleague, Congressman Gabe Vasquez.
Mass deportations will hurt every aspect of our economy and our society. Fixing our immigration system is a matter of national food security.
In a statement, Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who represents a part of Far East El Paso County, says President Trump is taking much-needed action to restore law and order through executive action, and the days of lawlessness in our country are over. Coming up at 5:30, we'll hear from Congresswoman Escobar about why she opposed a controversial bill that would make it easier to deport illegal immigrants charged with a crime. I'm Harrison Parker reporting from the border, KFOX 14 News at 5.
So sweeping changes to immigration policies continue in the first week of President Trump's second term. And today we're hearing from El Paso's voice in Congress about how Democrats plan to respond. KFOX 14 News at 5's Harrison Parker spoke to Congresswoman Veronica Escobar today about why she voted against a bipartisan bill on immigration. Harrison.
That's right, Robert. The Laken-Riley Act passed earlier this week by Congress makes it easier to deport undocumented immigrants accused of crimes as minor as shoplifting. And despite some Democrats voting in support, Congresswoman Veronica Escobar walked me through why she voted no.
There's a number of really bad aspects to the Laken-Riley Act. And I think it's important for people to know fundamentally, if you've been convicted of a crime, and you're an undocumented immigrant, the likelihood is very high that you will be deported and you are deportable. So, no need to be repetitive with that part of the law. But what the bill did was it added other provisions that essentially erode due process.
The bill was named after a Georgia woman who was killed last year by an alleged Venezuelan man living in the country illegally. As we've reported, officials say the man crossed the border here in El Paso. The bill is designed to make it easier for authorities to detain and deport anyone in the U.S. without legal status if they've been charged with a crime.
But the component of the bill that was the most profoundly troubling to me was the way that it empowers state attorneys generals, like our Attorney General, Ken Paxton, to essentially shape federal immigration law in a way that has never been allowed before. So it's a real overreach that will make an even bigger mess out of the immigration system.
Well, as the Congresswoman noted, there is still a lot left up in the air when it comes to federal immigration policy, so follow along with us here on air and at our website, kfoxtv.com. I'm Harrison Parker reporting from the border, KFOX 14 News at 5.